Stop. Don't buy that Pix package or all access. Wait, what? Yep, don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.
Well, welcome in here on a very happy Thursday, May the 19th. It is time to talk a little KBO Asian baseball. We've got two of the very best here at WagerTalk.com. And, well, they've got some edges on a couple of upcoming games they'd like to share with you as we welcome in Adam Trigger and Tokyo Brandon in his very own Superman booth. That thing is padded, that thing is soundproofed, and he is live from Japan with us, and we want to thank him so much for taking the time out here as both these gentlemen continue, and I mean continue to cash tickets here in the KBO and the Japanese Professional League. And Trig, what can we say? A hell of a run for you right now over at WagerTalk.com. Tell us about it and give us an idea of what you got locked and loaded at WagerTalk for tonight and the weekend here.
Yeah, well, my run has been mostly Major League Baseball, at least to start this week. But I did have back-to-back KBO winners until, I guess, this morning. When I finally lost one. But overall, baseball has been really good, right? Really since the very beginning of the season, in both MLB and KBO, having a great baseball season, and I hope that it continues. I've got a 4% best bet in KBO that goes in the morning, just $9, and we'll touch on all the other games on the show. So hope to leave you with some good info for tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend.
Number one at WagerTalk, guys, over the last couple of days here, Trig has been crushing it, and his 4% best bet for KBO tomorrow is available at his page now at WagerTalk.com. Speaking of crushing it, Tokyo Brandon in the house, continuing to just make it rain, my friend. Congrats on what is a very profitable season once again for you here. I know you are locked and loaded, ready to go here for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What's going on at WagerTalk?
Speaking of rain and blood for my Slayer fans out there. Anyway, I'm a bit frazzled. Actually, last night, I think I might be the only one on the panel that likes that kind of metal. But I know Tony Finn, Brian Leonard likes it as well. But anyway, because we talked about it at a hockey game a couple months ago. Anyways, yeah, I won my 4% play last night with Samsung. They finally got it done. That was a nail biter, though. Samsung was struggling with Hama. I couldn't believe it. But even with Wante in on the mound, they still struggled. But they finally got it done. So I won that 4% play. And the Mets just cashed a 4% play for me about an hour ago, finally, after Diaz blew the lead in the 9th inning. And they finally came back in the 10th and homered. Lindor, I think, homered. So I got 2 4% plays cashed in a row. And, yeah, I got a couple plays tonight. But my best play I'm giving as my best bet at the end of this show, which is in the KBO. And it's a game total that's available in every book. So stay tuned to the end of the show.
Next thing you know, you're going to tell me it's raining blood over there. All right, so I can't. We're going to start getting into Slayer songs. It's going to be awful. All right, we like to go back before we move forward here, guys, and take a little recap and some of the takeaways from the last time that we spoke. As you see the standings here with SSG and the LG Twins up top there, but starting to bunch up here a little bit. Number 3 and 4 right there. Just a half a game separating them. The Doosan Bears right there. So, a couple of weeks ago, there was the haves and the have-nots, but things are certainly tightening up here, Trig. And Why don't you talk to me about that team at the very bottom of the standings here? You got a takeaway from this team, the Hanwha Eagles, and tell us what's going on with this team.
Yeah, Joe. Well, I just want to say that was the polar bear Pete Alonso that hit that walk-off home run, and I don't think it's landed yet. It was an absolute bomb. So nice for Tokyo Brandon. Nice walk-off winner right there.
Boom.
Hanwha would love to have someone like him. Their offense has actually not been horrible. I mean, they scrap. This team scraps, but the reason I wanted to bring up Hanwha is because when I talked about Hanwha and Samsung on Monday, that series pretty much went exactly as I said it would. Okay, I gave out Hanwha as a best bet for Tuesday on the show as a 4% play for my clients at 1, and then the next 2 nights they came out and lost, but I will say this: they were far more competitive in those last 2 games. Brandon just alluded to it. They gave Samsung all they could handle the last 2 days, and really, Hanwha lost those games in the worst possible way for Hanwha to lose those games. Why? Because they had late leads and they burned through every bullpen arm imaginable, and didn't come out with a win, which is just absolutely brutal for Hanwha because they've just been burning up their bullpen left and right. So going into this series, you have Eric Jokic on the mound for Kaiwoom here, and Ryan Carpenter is not going to be back until next week. That's pretty much been confirmed at this point. So I think Hanwha's in a really tough spot, at least until next week, when they likely go Ryan Carpenter on Tuesday on a pitch count and then bring him back on Sunday. That's next week, though. This weekend, they're on the road where they're 5-15 this year. And they're going to have to deal with a Kaiwoom team that has their issues, but, I still think Kaiwoom is a better team than Hanwha. So, man, unless Hanwha comes out and gets killed in one of these games and just throws their scrubs and resets their rotation, which is probably what they should be doing here, and they're not in game one. Hanwha might be a really good fade for the next 3 days. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. I'll touch on Friday's game more in the best bet segment, but the way that the early portion of the week played out is going to make things very difficult for Hanwha this weekend at the Go Check Sky Dome.
Sounds like a fade to me, and you got to love that. But I'm going to be very interested to hear what Tokyo Brandon's takeaway is about a team that's got a pretty interesting series coming up here. Tell me about LG here. What do you think of this team?
Yeah, Adam says that Hanwha could use someone like Alonso. Heck, they could use Harrison Bader for that. They could use Harrison Ford. They could use anyone. But they could use Harrison Ford in their lineup and probably be an improvement. So let me talk about LG for a minute. Last week, on the last show, I talked about Samsung as a don't sleep on team. LG is definitely a don't sleep on team as well, and I'll tell you why. Samsung and LG both are 8-2 in their last 10 games. LG is actually a better team than Samsung, though, and I like to pick out a couple of stats and kind of dig a little deeper than just the records and project how this team's going to be doing. So let me give you a couple of stats that I dug up. LG, according to my rankings, has the number 1 bullpen in the KBO. And how good is their bullpen? Well, this is better than most major league bullpens. Their bullpen collectively has a 2.04 ERA with a 1.28 WHIP, and that's collective, and that's really impressive. That's impressive in any league, but especially in the KBO, where pitching is kind of an afterthought. And not only that, but their lineup is ranked second in run production. So LG is not exactly known as an offensive team, but this year they're actually pounding the ball pretty good. That's fine. Anyone can look those stats up. But if you look at individual stats, it's quite amazing that they only have one player They have one player, and it's Kim Hyung-soo. He's the only player that they have ranked in the top 10 for offensive production. So what that tells me, and if you look up individual pitching, they have 0 guys in the top 10 for ERA, WHIP, or strikeouts. That tells me that they're a complete team. That tells me that as a team, if you can rank number 2 as a team in any category and not have individuals ranked in the top 10, that tells me that you are a complete team from top to bottom. So LG, as far as hitting is concerned and as far as pitching is concerned, they are absolutely a complete team. Like I used the term last week when I was talking about SoftBank, they're a well-oiled machine from top to bottom. And they only have really one star player in their lineup. So look for LG to stay at the top of those rankings from here on out to the end of the season.
All right, there you go. You got one team at the bottom, one team on the way up, and those Twins have an interesting series and interesting game coming up against SSG, and we'll start there here, guys. Our featured game breakdown is just that here with Landers taking on the Twins. 145, the LG Twins open up as a slight dog in this one. The total, 7 here, Trig. So what do you think we're going to get, my man?
All right, so I'll kind of counter on LG first. I don't disagree with Brandon. LG is 100% a complete team because they play defense well, and their bullpen has been the top in the league all year long. So in 1 through 9, they have a pretty even. Remember, Rio Ruiz, their import player, has done nothing for them this year. He's actually still hanging out in the minors. I thought he might get recalled last week, and they haven't needed him. So he's still down there. I don't think he's rejoined the team yet, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen. But they just really haven't needed him. With that being said, I think the last couple weeks is a little bit of smoke and mirrors for LG. If you look at who they've played the past 2 weeks on this kind of run, I think they're 8 or 9-2 in their last 11. NC, Hanwha, KT, and Kia. Okay, and 3 of those teams are the 3 teams with a losing record in this league. And Kia, up until like a day ago, also had a losing record. They swept Lotte earlier this week to go from sub 500 to over 500. So, LG, they've done what they had to do, but they've done it against poor competition, lesser competition. I don't want to say poor because the parity in this league is pretty good. Here, they get SSG, who's the best team in the league, in my opinion. I don't think that's really debatable at this point. And SSG, as I talked about earlier in the week, got Choi Jung back. They're getting healthier. Chu's been back now. He's kind of over his injury. And here, they have Kwang Hyun Kim on the mound, who I've said this so far the whole year. He's by far the best pitcher in this league. His numbers reflect that at this point. 6-0 in 7 starts with a 0.60 ERA and a 0.76 WHIP. There might be some regression for him at some point, but those numbers are those numbers because he's a major leaguer pitching in this league right now. He's not a former major leaguer that didn't make it in the big leagues and had to go to Korea. He should be on a major league roster. The only reason he isn't is because he was probably concerned there wasn't going to be an MLB season and said, all right, I'll just go back home and sign a 1-year deal with SSG. So the fact that you can get him here at minus 175, in my opinion, is a bargain. I know Plutko's been good, but like SSG is in my opinion, the best team in this league. You get the best pitcher in this league. You get them on their home field and you get it for under minus 200. That sounds like a bargain to me. So I certainly lean SSG here.
All right, leaning towards SSG. What about you, Tokyo Brandon? You in agreement? SSG the way to look in this one?
Yeah, I don't think I would pull the trigger on that, and here's why. I have these starting pitchers. Actually, I have Plutko ranked slightly higher than Kim, but that's hard. I mean, it's negligible because Kim is an absolute stud. And Kim, so far this season, like Adam said, he is a major league pitcher pitching in AAA or AA, basically. So, I mean, he's going to mow people down. But Plutko has been mowing people down as well. LG does have the better bullpen. And to me, the lineups are fairly negligible here. I mean, we got two teams that are basically run producing at the same pace, at the same rate. So, I run the numbers and I have these teams like dead even. And if I have them dead even, it's hard for me to lay a price. I mean, I was hoping, I just looked, how can I bet this game? Because these are basically two of the best starting pitchers out there, right? I mean, Wilmer Font, plus these two guys and then Ruzinski. Those are probably the four best starting pitchers in the league. So I was thinking, how can I bet this game? And I'm looking at the lines right now. I don't know. First five, LG plus a half run at minus 105 might be the way to go, because, with these two pitchers, we're probably going to have a 0-0 or 1-1 at the end of 5 innings. So anytime you can get any kind of plus runs here, that might be the way to go. I haven't pulled the trigger on it. I'm debating it. LG first 5 plus a half run might be the way to go. If I can get a half run or even 1.5 runs in the full game, might be the way to go, because I have these teams dead even.
All right. Love it here, guys. Should be a hell of a game and a start to a really nice series that's coming up, but it won't be the only one this weekend. And we'll turn to another two teams doing battle here over the next couple of days here, Trig. And you're going to look at the Giants and the Bears. So talk to us about this series and what you're looking for here.
Well, Lotte's now lost 4 straight, and that's not overly surprising to me, because I did think that they got off to a really hot start. I actually think on our preseason show, I said I thought Lotte might finish last in the league this year, and I think I will be wrong. I think I will be wrong about that. I don't think the Giants are gonna drop that far to end up finishing last in the KBO. But they've started to trend downward a little bit at this point. 4 straight losses. They're now just a game above 500. And, here they go into this series and they're kind of in a little bit of a mess going into Friday's game. They're going to go with a bullpen game, which I think is actually really smart. I do like Lotte's manager, I believe I know it's Sutton. I forget his first name. He's an American. He's a former MLB guy. I really like how Lotte runs their team. They're kind of like the first team in KBO that really embraced analytics. And so what I think they're going to do in this matchup on Friday, they're going to start one of their relievers against Robert Stock, because they know they're at a disadvantage in that spot. And I think they're going to use it as a way to sort of reset they're either going to pull off a win with their lesser bullpen guys, or it's going to be if Doosan gets up big, they're going to mail it in, pitch their lesser guys, and reset their team for Saturday, Sunday. That's in my opinion, that's what they're going to do. So I would lean toward Doosan in the opener here, just with the fact that, they've got Stock on the mound, and that's how I see it playing out for Lotte. If that ends up happening, I think we could see really good value on Lotte on Saturday and potentially Sunday. I'd love to somehow I don't know if it'll actually happen, but plus 1.5 would be great. I'm guessing it'll be too expensive because they're on the road. But, Saturday, you're probably going to get Siwoong Park for Lotte against Wanjun Choi. So Doosan will definitely be favored there. Park is coming off of a dreadful outing against Hanwha, but that was one where I had a best bet on Hanwha in that game. The main reason was I didn't like that Lotte was going to start Park twice in the same week. So I think the reason he got blown up there was just fatigue. And that was really his only bad start of the season. So I think this is a really nice bounce back spot for Siwoong Park on Saturday to have success. And Choi has been a little bit more hittable lately. He's kind of been one of the best domestic starters in this league for a couple of years now. But he started to give up a few runs. So I wonder if he's sort of in, sort of some slight regression mode, and maybe, a fade for the short term. On Sunday, this is where it kind of gets interesting, because you have Glenn Sparkman likely going to get Glenn Sparkman for Lotte, who is their other import guy. that's really probably been one of the worst import pitchers in this league so far this year, up until his last start, which was very solid. So, and then you're going to get him potentially against Young Ha Lee, who's been atrocious as a starter, or Doosan's going to either have to go the bullpen route, which they potentially could do. And I wonder if Brandon knows, because I really couldn't find anything on it, but Doosan might have Ariel Miranda back soon. So, that would throw a whole different wrinkle into things if he comes back on Sunday. As far as I know, that's not going to be the case. But I don't think he's hurt. I think he's been down in the minors because they just weren't happy with him, and that's what they do in this league when there's displeasure with one of the import players. So very interesting series. Doosan definitely has an edge on Friday. With Stock on the mound against a bullpen game for Lotte, but I could see Lotte being really good value Saturday and Sunday in this series, regardless of who Doosan trots out there.
All right, opportunity presenting himself there in that series, and opportunity presenting themselves in the Japanese League, I believe, as well, which is where you're going to focus on there, Brandon. Talk to us.
Yeah, regarding Adam's point about Miranda, I don't have any new news. I do know a couple weeks ago he was demoted and he was very shaky in the minors. So even if he comes back, I wouldn't expect him to be his old self, shall we say, his MVP type self from the get-go. But he is a good pitcher, and I don't have any news on whether he's coming back soon or not. So my series breakdown is the Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Oryx Buffaloes. So this is a tale of two teams. Rakuten, I told you in a couple shows ago that if you have any futures available, to bet it on the Rakuten Golden Eagles to win the whole thing. The reason being is because they're a complete team as well. They have, a bona fide closer. They have a great leadoff guy, and they've got enough power in their lineup to get it done. They have the third best lineup in Japanese baseball. Oryx is a team, they've been doormats for a long, long time. And then last year, finally, they got this big spark, and they made the playoffs. They lost in the first round of the play, or they made it actually to the finals, and then they got knocked out. So they didn't get to the promised land, but they were very good. They went basically from zero to first, from doormats to first place. But this year they're struggling again. And the main reason they're struggling is because they can't hit. Their best hitter, Yoshida, has been out. I heard he's back in with the team, and I was checking the last 2 days, and he hasn't been playing. I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but like I said about Ariel Miranda, I mean, right when you come back from assignment, usually you're not going to start, clubbing bombs right away. Usually it takes a game or two for you to get back to your speed. So I really like Rakuten in this series. Rakuten has the better bullpen, ranked number 3, against ranked number 8 bullpen out of 12 teams. And they have the better lineup, ranked number 4 compared to ranked number 12. Oryx is dead last right now in run production. So I wouldn't bet today's game, though, because we have 2 really good starting pitchers. This is the thing about Oryx is they can't hit, but they have great pitching. So, they're kind of like the Miami Marlins, I guess. And they can't hit, but they have really good rotation starters, right? So they're a hard team to peg. If they start hitting, they're a great team. But so far, they're not hitting at all. So I'm going to lay off today's game because we have Takinaka against Tajima. Pretty good, pretty even teams. But my advice to you in tomorrow and the next day's games would be, if you see a good Rakuten starting pitcher against a lesser Oryx pitcher, bet the farm on Rakuten because they're going to destroy them. As long as Oryx has a good starting pitcher, a comparable starting pitcher out against Rakuten like they do today, I'm going to lay off the game because, like I always say, I mean, you want to bet a bunch of games, but sometimes not betting is a winning bet because you're not losing anything. So in this game of sports betting, we're trying to find an edge and attack the edge. And today, Rakuten is a minus 185, and I don't see any advantage today. However, tomorrow and the next day game, I mean, Rakuten should be able to go 3-0 in this series. So if you see good odds And if you see Rakuten putting a really good pitcher out there, I would take Rakuten in this series for tomorrow and the next day.
Tomorrow and the next day. All right. That's the kind of edges we're talking about here, guys. And, the best edge right now is if you head over to WagerTalk.com. You visit Adam's page. You also visit Tokyo Brandon's page there, guys. That is the way to do it. Pick up one of those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages, and you'll get every one of their best bets here, guys, including any 5% best bets that may come up between now and then. Great opportunity to make it an extremely profitable weekend here across the sports betting landscape. And we'll leave you guys here with some best bets here. And Triggs, start us off here with what you're looking at for a best bet here moving forward.
Yeah, so the best bet I have is the 4% play that I have posted. It's on my page, $9, WagerTalk.com. But for the show, another play I really like, and I'll be honest, if the price was better, I probably would add it as an equal play, is Kaiwoom to beat Hanwha tomorrow. I talked about it earlier in the show. I think it's a brutal spot for Hanwha. They just ran through all of their relief pitchers in 2 very close games. Tuesday they won, so they needed to close out a 4-3 game. Wednesday they blew a 3-1 lead a 3-1 lead in the 9th inning.
Oof.
And lost 5-3. And then yesterday they lose in extras. So that's very taxing on the bullpen. That's not very deep and can't afford to be taxed. Hanwha, they're not going to get Ryan Carpenter back this weekend. It looks like he's going to pitch Tuesday. So, they're really thin in the bullpen, and it's not a great bullpen as it is. And here for Kaiwoom, you got Eric Jokic on the mound, who's been as consistent and as solid of a starter as you're going to find in this league since he joined the KBO back in 2019. 2.25 ERA, 0.94 whip on the season. His career KBO numbers, 2.71 ERA, 1.11 whip. He's a stud. I mean, he's worth the juice, in this game, and the fact that Kaiwoom is at home. They're a worthy 2-1 favorite here. Now, Kaiwoom to win would be a best bet 4% caliber play for me. Unfortunately, they're minus 205 to win. So I really like them to win this game. I think a way you could play it is the -1 route. Some of the international books will actually offer you a -1. If you don't have -1, that's fine. In this case, you're probably just going to split your bet half on the -1.5 and half on Kaiwoom to win, because it looks like Kaiwoom -1.5 right now is even money. So you could do that and manufacture yourself a Kaiwoom -1. I don't see him losing this game at home. Hanwha 5-15 on the road this year. It's just a tough spot for the Eagles. So I'll say Kaiwoom -1 is my best bet for the show.
All right, there you go here, guys. Kaiwoom -1 for a best bet. Now, Brandon, how about you? Which way you looking here for a best bet tonight?
Yeah, I like Adams. I like Adams' play there. It seems like Kaiwoom should be able to come out on top. Sorry, I got a little cord issue here. Seems like Kaiwoom should be able to come out on top here. Kaiwoom, though, their run production has been so awful. It's really hard to take them. But yeah, like he said, Hanwha is just in an awful spot. They've been losing games in the most awful way. They've fallen and they can't get up. So my best bet here, and this is actually a client play that I put out about an hour ago, is I'm on the Kia NC game today. And the reason I'm on this is I don't really like NC's run production, but actually in the last couple of days, they've been really hammering it. They scored, I think, 15 the other night, and they're just kind of on a roll. NC's getting some players back, and they're on a roll right now. And they're facing a Kia pitcher in Sean Nolan. He's awful. He was in Japan last year for the Seibu Lions. He was terrible. They cut him halfway through the season. They cut him because he was so bad out here. And then they sent him to the KBO. And even in the KBO, he's got a 1.34 whip and a 3.86 ERA, which by KBO standards is not so bad. But actually, he gives up 3 runs or more almost every start he goes out there. So I looked at this line and it's 7.5. NC is putting out Lee J. Hack, and Lee J. Hack is awful. He's really awful. How awful is he? He's well, his career whip is 141, but I mean, he's getting bombed. He's giving up 6 runs, 7 runs. What do I have? He's got a 7+ ERA so far this season. And last year against Kia, he gave up 2 runs and 1 run. So he wasn't so bad against Kia last year, but Kia is much improved right now. Like, they have Nasam Bang, who they got from NC actually, and they're really whacking it. I have Kia as the #1 run production team, and both of these bullpens out of 10 are respectively ranked 7 and 10. So I see a lot of runs here. My projection has this at 9.4 runs in this game, and the line was only 7.5. So I'm on the over in this game, over 7.5, and the price is good. I don't see either one of these bullpens holding it down, and I don't see either one of these starters holding anything down. So I'm on the over 7.5.
Makes total sense there. Expecting some runs there, over 7.5 here for Tokyo Brandon. And don't forget, guys, like they said, their best bets are up and available right now. WagerTalk.com. Visit Adam Trigger's page. Visit Tokyo Brandon's page. 4% best bets and others available right now at WagerTalk.com. No reason not to make it a very profitable lead-in to the weekend. And of course, we'll be back again on Monday here, recapping the weekend for you, getting you ready for yet another week here of the KBO and the Japanese Professional League with 2 of the very best. Hope you'll visit them here today at WagerTalk.com. Cash a few tickets here on a Friday as we get ready for what should be a great weekend on the diamond, both here and abroad. So on behalf of Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger, guys, we appreciate the time. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Hit the like and subscribe button. You'll get notified when we go live here with these shows. Mondays and Thursdays, we're here for you. It's a pleasure to hang with you guys. Thank you very much for making us a part of your day. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
Stop. Don't buy that picks package or All Access. Wait, what? Yep, don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sports Memo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.